Obesitas di Indonesia semakin menjadi masalah kesehatan yang serius dengan dampak yang dapat mengarah kepada risiko penyakit kronis. Lantas sejauh mana penanganan dan bagaimana peran Novo Nordisk dalam mengintervensi masalah obesitas ini?
Halo, saya Roni Satria dan dalam segmen kali ini kita akan membahas persoalan obesitas di Indonesia yang kian menjadi tantangan serius baik bagi kesehatan masyarakat dan tidak hanya terkait dengan berat badan tetapi juga obesitas berkaitan dengan risiko penyakit kronis, pemahaman publik serta bagaimana penanganannya perlu dilihat secara lebih komprehensif. Dan untuk membahasnya lebih lanjut sudah bersama saya Ibu Sreenivasan, Vice President and General Manager of Novo Nordisk Indonesia. Thank you for speaking with us, Ibu Sri.
Thank you so much for coming over, Ronnie. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Very nice to meet you too. Let me start with the broader picture. Obesity is often seen by many people as a matter of lifestyle or personal discipline. From your perspective, how serious is obesity now as a health challenge in Indonesia?
Obesity is becoming a topic of conversation across the world because of the challenges that it faces, that it imposes on various countries. Let's talk about Indonesia.
All right.
In Indonesia, if you look at the adult population, 1 in 4 people in Indonesia live with obesity.
Oh.
That means that the number that you're looking at, Ronnie, is 50 million. There are 50 million people in Indonesia who live with obesity.
That's concerning.
That's a very large number. And that's one of the biggest problems that we have in Indonesia, the fact that it impacts so many people. But I'll talk about the second problem, Ronnie. The second problem is that obesity is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh.
If a person has obesity, the person has a higher risk of having diabetes. If you have diabetes, there is a higher risk of having a cardiovascular event like heart attack, stroke, etc. So if you look at all the diseases together and look at obesity as the mother of all these chronic diseases, the problem is not only 50 million, the problem is far bigger than that 50 million.
You mentioned a chronic disease,
Yes.
which led by the obesity. One issue that often comes is that obesity is still not always understood as it is.
It
you
is.
mentioned chronic disease. Why does that misunderstanding matter?
I think we are looking at years and years of what we have learned. I'm sure that, when we were kids, we were told is that walk out, run a little more,
Oh yeah.
exercise a little more, eat a little less, and you will take care of our weight. And that's what we've done all these years, Ronnie. And it is important. Exercise is important. Diet is important. All of that is important. But what we also need to realize is that all of us are born with a biology.
I see.
We're born with certain genes. And that genes not only determines the color of your eyes and the color of your hair, it also determines at what weight will you grow into.
There's a now growing attention globally around newer medical approaches for obesity, including GLP-1 based therapy. What is changing in the way obesity is managed medically?
So if you look at, let's talk about GLP-1s. Let's talk about, if anybody wanted to lose weight about 10 years back, they had to do the same thing, diet and exercise.
Yeah.
GLP-1s are a new transformative class of medication. Novo Nordisk was the first company that came out with an obesity medication. And the results were transformative, Ronnie. Before this, aiming for 20% weight loss in 1/3 of the people who take this was not possible. With this medication, with medication that like GLP, especially the one that comes out of Novo Nordisk, 20% weight loss is achievable by 1/3 of the people.
Where does Novo Nordisk see its role in responding to this challenge in Indonesia, and what are the main things Novo Nordisk is bringing into the obesity space here?
Okay. So let's talk about, what you started with. Let's talk about the myths and the misinformation about obesity.
Okay.
If we want to make any change in our society, we first need to address myths and misinformation about
Sure.
obesity. That's one of the first things that we do. We provide correct information. We provide information so that people who don't know about it make the right choice, and they have the right information to make the right choice.
Exactly.
So,
and research-based evidence also.
Absolutely. So if you go on our website, which is called novocare.id, you will get information that is scientifically valid and ratified. You will not get your normal, Google search or your TikTok stuff on novocare.id. So whatever is the prevailing current scientific thought is what people can get on Novocare ID.
Can you tell us more about the awareness efforts and support tools Novo Nordisk is building for people?
So, like I said, there has to be a central repository of information, a single source of truth. And for us, that single source of truth is novocare.id. But it is also important that we make patients aware that now there is hope. And if they've been struggling with weight loss, they can, kind of seek support from a medical doctor. So what we've been, kind of doing is that we've been talking about harapan yang meringankan.
Oh, yeah.
So we say that there is hope. There is a hope that can help you lighten your mind and hopefully lighten your weight. And if you want to get more information about this, log on to novocare.id and speak to a doctor. You can connect to a doctor through Novocare ID and you can .id and you can help, kind of get a solution for your weight problems.
So what does the better support look like in practice for someone living with obesity in Indonesia today?
For someone who's living with obesity, we cannot negate lifestyle. Lifestyle has to be the basic foundation of everything that you do. In addition to that, the doctor might prescribe a drug like a GLP-1 receptor agonist, which can help the patient not only lose weight, but also have a lot of other benefits.
And of course, it cannot be done alone by one single actor.
Yeah.
So how is Novo Nordisk working with the government and other institutions or stakeholders in Indonesia?
So we do a lot of work with a lot of stakeholders, and I'll talk about one that is very important to us.
What's that?
If you look at childhood obesity in Indonesia, 1 in 5 children who go to school are obese. That's a very large number, Ronnie. And a child, if he is obese or he or she is obese, there is a very high tendency that the child will become an obese adult or an adult with obesity. So if we need to deal with this problem, we need to get to the root of the problem. We need to understand what is making our children overweight. And for that, we are working with UNICEF. So UNICEF is committed to better health for children all across the world. And in 4 countries across the world, Novo Nordisk is partnering with UNICEF to understand childhood obesity.
So kind of interesting how Novo Nordisk has demonstrated how to respond to diabetes and particularly obesity in Indonesia. Can you tell us about the community partnerships Novo Nordisk is involved in?
Yeah, one of the community partnerships that we've recently got into is with the state government of Jakarta, and with that, we are doing Cities for Better Health, and we are trying to, kind of do interventions, do projects within Jakarta to bring healthcare into people who are, kind of living in Jakarta. We'll do more of that over the next 5 years.
That sounds interesting. And let me come to investment. Is Novo Nordisk looking at Indonesia as a long-term healthcare investment destination?
Yeah, very much. We've been in Indonesia for close to 25 years now, Ronnie. So I'll talk about a couple of projects that are very important to us. We know that diabetes is a big problem in Indonesia. We have adopted about 46 puskesmas in rural Java. And in these 46 puskesmas, with the support of the local government, with the support of the embassy of Denmark, with the support of Perkeni, Pabdi, a lot of healthcare professionals involved in diabetes care, we've conducted screening, diagnosis, treatment, and we are providing free insulin to anybody who needs it in those 46 puskesmas. That's one of the things that we're doing, and we've done that. I think this was a project that we, kind of initiated about 3 or 4 years. It gives us a lot of satisfaction.
Okay.
But a lot of people are also interested about, is Novo Nordisk manufacturing in Indonesia? And we have a collaboration with Biopharma to participate in the manufacturing process of insulin.
Okay, so when you talk about strengthening the healthcare ecosystem, what does that mean in concrete terms for Indonesia?
For us, it means about bringing self-reliance into the system. For us, it is about ensuring that there is education with all the stakeholders so that the standard of care that is provided to every person in Indonesia is heightened, and we provide them the best level of care. For us, that means education, that means partnering, and that means bringing innovation into Indonesia.
So we're coming to the end of our conversation. Maybe one short sentence that you can just deliver to our audience.
Yeah. Novo Nordisk is committed to changing chronic diseases all across the world. We are committed to Indonesia. We've demonstrated that over the years, and we'll continue to demonstrate that over the coming years.
Well, thank you so much, Ibu Sri. And from your explanations, I can see like that demonstrations is real already, like in the Indonesians of over 25 years you mentioned earlier before. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for kind of coming over, Ronnie. Lovely to talk to you.
Demikian perbincangan saya dengan Ibu Sreerekha Sreenivasan. Terima kasih atas perhatian Anda dan sampai jumpa.
Okay, that was it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was very nice.